So let's talk about PPP 2.0. The qualifications are different. So just to reiterate, under my expectation, it's basically Q1, Q2. Is it just Q1 or Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 2020? You have to have a worse quarter in 2020 compared to 2019. Was that you, Ernesto? No? Or yeah. So if you had 2020, fourth quarter was worse than 2019 fourth quarter, you get it. But it's not any quarter. It has to be the corresponding quarter, right, JJ? So break down the qualifications on PPP 2.0.
So when we're talking about 2.0, we're talking about second round. And when we're talking about second round, you got first draw, second draw. So if you never got PPP in 2020, what we're getting ready to talk about right now doesn't apply to you. If you did get PPP in 2020, then what we're getting ready to talk about applies to you, which is, you're right, Josh, you have to show at least a 25% decrease in your gross receipts in any quarter of 2020, but it has to be compared to the same correlating quarter in 2019. So when you're looking at your gross receipts, you follow the rules that you follow when preparing your tax return. Now, I'll tell you this, the SBA came out with the new forgiveness application for the $150,000 or less. The only reason I'm going to mention that to you is that they did put together a provision and expanded some guidelines. And in those guidelines, in the minutia, it did indicate that related to gross receipts, not only are you following the tax aspect, which on all tax returns would be line 1C, okay, because you do get to take returns and allowances. But here's what's huge for contractors, okay, or for those that are receiving monies on behalf of their client to just spend the money on behalf of the client directly, they get to reduce that from the gross receipts. That does not mean gross profit. That does not mean you get to deduct your cost of goods sold. What it means is if you have, and we know this happens a lot, let's say you have somebody that they're collecting money on behalf of a client to then pay subcontractors directly, they do get to reduce that. But that is really the only aspect there. And then for nonprofits, it's including their contributions as it relates to that, but there has to be less than 25%. Josh, if you let me add this, if you weren't in business for a full quarter in first or second quarter of 19, then there are provisions of what you can apply if you weren't in business the first three quarters. And so what you want to do is look closely. It'd take too long to do it on air, Josh, but you want to look closely at the rules, because just because you weren't in business the full year doesn't blow you out of the water. And there's even a provision if you weren't in business at all in 19, but you were in business February 15th of 2020, how you're able to compare your quarters to quarters. So the SBA has done a great job of defining a lot of this on the front side.
This is the JJ The CPA and JJ The Financial Quarterback simulcast.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Jelensky Advisory Group.
Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications, including 5-Star Wealth Manager, Advisory of the Year finalist by Senior Market Advisor, and Top of the $1 Million Roundtable, are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Josh Jelensky or Wealth Quarterback LLC. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Wealth Quarterback website at www.jelensky.org. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions in securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice. Due to various factors, including changing market conditions, the information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up to date, Josh Jelensky and Wealth Quarterback do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature. is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation.
Advisory services offered through Wealth Quarterback LLC.